right, you posh cow. Hand back my hubby's kinky trousers before I loose my rag. Listen here, you cow. I'm gonna beat some manners into you until you're a real lady, all right?
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Female Fight Archive. It looks like there's been another commotion at the Saloon. It's right nearby, so I'm going to walk over. Would you like to come along? Okay. Let's talk as we walk. This is my town. Believe it or not, it's actually the biggest town around here. It's not the saloon you see on the left, it's the place right next to it. There are as many as 10 saloons in this town. No matter how many saloons there are, as long as you can hear the shrill screams of two women and the cheers of the men echoing out onto the street, you can tell right away which one it is, even with your eyes closed. Now, ladies, haven't you had enough? Stop fighting. Emma, why on earth would someone like you pick a fight with Miranda?
Since Sheriff Sterling seems to be busy, I'll take this opportunity to explain the purpose of this video. The theme this time is space. To that end, I bought a Western-style town with saloons of various sizes. It was on sale, so it cost less than $10. How does space influence fight scenes between women in movies? How should space be used to create compelling scenes? Let's explore these questions by considering the size of a saloon in a Western. Right now, we're showing fight scenes between women in two contrasting settings. One takes place in an open area with a view of the sky, while the other is set in a cramped room. Interestingly, there doesn't seem to be much difference in the fights themselves. So what exactly is different?
Hey, did I keep you waiting?
Sheriff Sterling, has the dispute been settled?
Oh, for some reason, they both started dancing together. When it comes to scenes of fights between women in saloons, there's no way to avoid mentioning the movie Destry Rides Again. First, let me explain the space in this scene from the film. Just as is often the case in classic westerns, the town of Bottleneck and the Last Chance Saloon, the largest establishment in town, play key roles in the story. In the opening scene of the film, Kent, the de facto ruler of this town, walks down the hallway on the second floor of his saloon, looking just like a king surveying the great hall from his throne. This space is the heart of his kingdom and the venue for that famous catfight. In the first half of the film, Marlene Dietrich hands James Stewart, who has declared he will not carry a gun, a bucket of water, and a mop. These become key items in later scenes. Just then, Una Merkel pushes her way through the crowd of men. The audience already knows from the comical exchange between her and her husband earlier that she has come to retrieve her husband's pants. After an argument, Una loses her temper and hits Maureen with her husband's pants, which she snatched from her. This catfight scene, which has gone down in film history, probably doesn't need any analysis from the perspective of fight choreography, as seen in other videos. I think it's a very emotional and natural fight scene. Also, as mentioned earlier, the Last Chance Saloon setting really shines in this scene as well. Even the cutaways, other than the two women who interrupt the catfight, convey a sense of the space's depth.
Neither of us knew what we were doing. We just plunged in and punched and slapped and kicked for all we were worth. They never did call in the stunt girls. Marlene stepped on my feet with her French heels. The toenails never grew back. She was stronger than me. She was very powerful and I was very thin. Luckily, I have a remarkable constitution. I was bruised from head to foot when it was over. I looked like an old peach, green with brown spots, and I felt like one too. At the end of the scene, Jimmy Stewart came in and dumped a whole bucket of water on us. He did it in long shot. Then he had to do it over for close-ups. Then Life magazine wanted pictures, so they did it over again. He dumped water on us for hours.
As Una Markle later recalled, regardless of whether they were actually grappling with each other, given that it was 1939, this scene must have seemed exceptionally natural and realistic to audiences at the time, like a genuine fight between two women. Incidentally, I suspect that the claim that Marine Dietrich was a tough fighter is actually true. This is because, contrary to the image she tried to project to the public after becoming a star, she was originally a very physically imposing German woman. The dramatic success of this 1939 film, along with John Ford's Stagecoach, helped revive the Western genre. At the same time, like John Ford's films, it spawned countless imitations. This scene in the film is set in a large saloon with a stage, just like the 1939 film. But I think it lacks cinematic dynamism and is simply long and uninteresting.
But don't try it with me or I'll take you apart.
This movie is even worse. The setting doesn't even look like a good old-fashioned Western saloon to begin with, just as the lead actor doesn't look anything like Jesse James.
The 1950 film Frenchie is one that would be more accurately described as a continuation rather than an imitation. The film begins with a woman named Frenchie returning to a town of the same name as Bottleneck, the fictional town where the 1939 film is set. Frenchie is played by Shelley Winters, who was nearing 30 at the time. She's both cute and sexy in this movie. The film is set in the Scarlet Angel. I thought it was an unusual name for a saloon in a Western, but then I noticed something while editing. The German masterpiece that catapulted Dietrich to superstardom is The Blue Angel. The character Frenchie, played by Dietrich, though the spelling is different, is portrayed by Shelley Winters in a film that serves as a sort of prequel to the 1939 movie. If you look at Dietrich back then, I don't think there's anything strange about that. You see what I mean? Given how much respect this film shows for the 1939 movie, there's no way it wouldn't include a catfight scene. The intense fight scene with my favourite actress, Marie Windsor, is the highlight of this film. John, what do you think of this scene?
Although it's far better than the two movies I mentioned earlier, I'm sorry to say, as a fan of Marie Windsor, but it doesn't come close to the 1939 film, in my opinion. The reason is poor flow. The difference from the 1939 film is that in places, the fight sequences feel clunky or stilted. In particular, the scene where the two women fall to the floor and then get back up doesn't feel smooth. The 1939 film was very emotional and sexy in those moments.
Come to think of it, there was a great scene in that 1939 movie where Una Markel snatches one of Dietrich's saloon boots and tries to hit Dietrich with the heel.
Woohoo! Let's ride! Nothing beats this feeling.
So, do you remember the story about how I bought an entire town out west? During the gold rush, the largest towns reportedly had 50 to 60 saloons of all sizes lined up side by side. Let's go inside the smallest saloon of them all. Come on, push that swing door open. It's a very small place. 2 tables, a few round stools at the counter, a worn-out piano, and yet it called itself a saloon, but that's okay. Even though it's such a small saloon, there's a really pretty saloon girl here. Her name is Lorelei, and she has blonde hair.
Mr. Hartwell, as I live and breathe, same table as always, or are you feeling lucky tonight?
Surprisingly, there's one more person, the down-to-earth and wild Mary Ellen.
You are looking awful pleased with yourself tonight. Struck it rich, or just glad to see me?
Now, these 2 saloon girls don't get along at all and are always bickering. One day, their usual verbal spat escalated into a physical fight. So, John, how are you going to choreograph the fight in this cramped saloon?
I can think of some fight scenes like the ones in the recent Jason Bourne movies, but if it were set in the 50s, it would probably run afoul of self-regulation.
Tell me a little bit about what kind of plan it is.
First, use whatever means necessary to knock the other woman to the floor. Then, dump the contents of the spittoon under the table onto her face. And while she's off balance, hit her on the head with the spittoon. It's made of brass, so it really packs a punch.
I wish I hadn't asked. The theme this time is space, but there's a principle that applies whether indoors or outdoors. Regardless of gender, a fight between people with no martial arts experience tends to be monotonous and boring to third-party observers. In fights between women, it's often the exposure of skin from torn clothing rather than the fight itself that draws the most attention.
Let go of me! Not until you leave!
One way to make a catfight visually compelling on film is to have the women have experience in martial arts and be accustomed to fighting. Another approach is to make creative use of the battle setting, as seen in the 1939 film. As you watch this scene over and over again, you begin to realize just how organically the 2 women's fight is intertwined with their surroundings, to the point where the last chance saloon almost seems like a living creature. That is precisely why this scene from the film has been talked about for over 80 years. You might be able to create a great scene by using a large set and hiring lots of extras, just like in a 1939 movie. But I don't think any filmmakers these days would spend that much money on a catfight scene. What did you think? I went to the trouble of buying the town, but I didn't get to use it much. If you have any good ideas for a saloon fight, please let me know in the comments. Also, if I get a lot of likes, I'll consider making a sequel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now, in my next video, I'll be adapting a classic novel from the past into a film in my own style. It's probably the world's first and last adaptation of this story. Let's wrap things up with the trailer for that.
Eine neue Verfilmung ist entstanden, basierend auf der meisterhaften Kurzgeschichte von Hubert Eulenberg, einem Schriftsteller, dessen Ruhm vor 80 Jahren von den Nazis gestohlen wurde. Ein Frauenzweikampf.